is Jasmine Jones. I am a fourth-year student from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and right now I am getting my degree in interior architecture. And I will be graduating in May. For the past semester, I've been doing work here at CDI, studying the relationships between art and 3D printing. First of all, when I first got started, I just wanted to make sure that I could use different modeling engines. So first I did use, or modeling software. I built a chair in Maya, and then I went from there and I went to Rhino, and I built a kind of more organic form from there. Then I wanted to try something different and do a study. So with the art of letter writing, I had 4 friends that I wrote letters to, and they wrote me letters back. And I decided to map the first and second person pronouns in the letter because I felt like that connected the relationship from me back to them. And each person had a different letter map based on what they said to me or how they spoke. And so the first 2 are females, Kara and Kira, and you can tell that their letter map is a lot more curved and a lot more tightly wound than the boys down at the bottom, Kwame and Tevin.
Can you explain this a little bit better? So what are we looking at here?
This here is the actual map from the letter. Pretty much I went through the letter, and each time I saw an I or your or we or you based on that first or second person pronoun, I just made sure that it connected or mapped based on the next one that I connected to. Right. So, and then I decided that because I wrote them the letter and they wrote me back, it was almost like a 360 revolution. So all of these forms were then revolved on themselves and created.
What does this mean?
Well, for me, it was just like a data relationship, and I was just able to see the difference between handwriting and the difference between how much you referenced me in the letter, or how much you connected us both back in the letter, and when they, or if they did, like with Kwame, it was a lot of more, not so many references back to me, and here in the middle, you can tell that he was constantly referencing I, you, me, or we, and then when you got down here, it wasn't so much.
So would you conclude if we had a larger sample and didn't know whether it was male or female, by making the mapping, we would be able to distinguish whether it was male or female based on
Possibly so.
pattern sequence?
If I could do like a larger study, I believe that you could tell the difference between
What about ethnic groups?
I wasn't really concerned about ethnic groups.
No, I'm just thinking that may be something too, just for people.
Yeah.
Besides male and female.
Right. It would be interesting to think about, or how I could approach it.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like that before. Where'd you get the idea?
When I first started, me and my mentor Scott just kind of went through a list of different things that we could connect back to modeling or data, and how those had relationships with art or modeling and that sort. So,
Were the samples ever returned? I'm just curious. And I think it could affect your pattern as well. Were they on different types of stationery?
most of them were on just written line paper. I think there was one, and this was this person down here who wasn't on line paper, but the rest of them were. Yeah. This is just my second letter map. I took the same letters, but took a different approach to mapping the pronouns. So I took a letter, and based on whether the letter had 3 folds or 4, when they were rolled up in the envelope, I then separated those evenly. And then this time, instead of tracing exactly where each pronoun was, I actually made those points on a map, and then I traced the points. And then from there, I did a loft tool in Rhino, and then it created these planar curvature forms. And it was just a different approach to mapping it different ways.
huge one, car sales, naturally,
In your kind of purplish one at the top, you know, and all these, being an architect, I can also see these as generating forms for buildings. So that top one, I can very easily visualize that as a building, a multi-story building.
Yes.
What got you interested in pronouns?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what way I could map these all the same way, because when I first started, I did a survey, so each of them answered a survey as in how many letters did you write, and if you wrote the letters, where did they send them to, what type of paper did you write on, and what type of writing utensil did you use, whether it was like a crayon or a marker, and then if the letters that they have sent were significant to them, but then I couldn't really find a connection in all of that data to be the same. So then I started reading through the letters and trying to figure out what type of patterns I could.
You're gonna go to graduate school after graduation?
Not immediately.
Because this could be a good research project to continue into graduate school.
Thank you.
Yeah, you could find some computational linguistic algorithms that would do that pronoun searching for you and maybe help to generate some interesting new ways of connecting them as well. It's very interesting.
Wait, what about doing this for like web.com news articles? Various news articles like Winston-Town Journal or such, and go through like when they mention a certain word, so and map that.
Right. It's a good idea.
A football game or baseball game would be different than, you know, something else would be interesting to see what the difference between sports and politics. I mean, it just opens up a whole
List of opportunities.
Exactly. You'll have buildings that people had never seen before, you know?
In politics, you would have more first-person pronouns.
Yeah, I'm so good.
Well, that's a good comparison to Wordle, which has gotten to be quite popular, where the mapping is based on frequency, and certainly certain texts are more important versus others. So here you're using, you're extracting different relevant information for these constructs. Jasmine will be around.
What software do you use?